shutout. USC pitches a shutout. Los Angeles sports fans certainly hope that Clayton Kershaw or Jack Flaherty will be able to do that in October a few times. But USC defends its end of the field until the very end. Pretty cool to see all the guys hooping and hollering when that Utah State 52-yard field goal missed wide left at the very end. Did not give up a single point. And it looked as though Utah State was going to score a field goal when it got down to the 20, but then that defense, 2 big negative plays, like they really wanted that. You could tell it meant a lot to those guys. And like until that final drive and until Utah State did get down to the 20, it looked like it was going to be a shutout for USC. So just another magnificent performance by the D'Anton Lynn, Coach Henny, woof woof, Matt Entz, Doug Belk, Taylor Mays defense, just so many superlatives. And yes, it's Utah State. You know, it was the one cupcake game on the schedule, but right, short week. You know, USC plays Sunday night, and that was a draining game against LSU. You might have thought, oh, they're going to be sleepy, they're going to be groggy for Utah State. They might just kind of slide through, go through the motions. No way. Exactly the opposite. This team was locked in on defense, stayed locked in. Backups were locked in. Starters were locked in. Everybody was locked in. And that is the transformation of the mindset, the transformation of the culture, the transformation of the modus operandi, to use a Latin phrase used by men of Troy of old. That is the transformation that we're seeing here at USC under D'Anton Lynn. So that's exciting, right? Just the mindset, the professionalism, the discipline, the focus, you know, everything's there for the USC defense. And you can say that it was a minor opponent, but again, you know, remember, we've seen teams that play the Sunday or Monday game on Labor Day, then they play a cupcake game in week 2 on the short week with the 4 days off or 5 days off. They get picked off, or at least they come close to losing. And let's mention Notre Dame losing to Northern Illinois, Penn State getting a battle from Bowling Green, Iowa losing to Iowa State. Like a lot of top teams, and some of them in the Big Ten, they did get picked off in week 2. And Oregon got taken to the wire by Boise State. Oklahoma, a 27.5-point favorite at home, almost lost to Houston. So, like, you know, teams that USC measures itself against in the Big Ten, outside the Big Ten, they had a hard time against teams they really should have clobbered. USC did clobber its weaker opponent. So USC looks like a really good team right now. And obviously, you know, there's certainly reason for optimism, but we are just 2 games in. And that Michigan game is next. Obviously, we're going to be talking about that game a lot here on the USC channel at the Voice of College Football, September 21. And I don't know if a betting line has come out, but I'm going to say this is going to be very close to a toss-up. You know, maybe it might be Michigan opening at 1.5, 2 points, but by kickoff time, might be a pick'em. Could even be USC -1, -1.5 when it's all said and done. And hey, frankly, I would like Michigan to be the favorite because that's a reason for USC to say, hey, they still doubt us. They still don't think we're that good. But, you know, when you look at how Michigan's offense fared against Texas, like that's not it. That's not going to get Capone. You would think that this USC defense can keep that Michigan offense under wraps with Davis Warren. Can't really push the ball down the field. Michigan offensive line got worked by the Texas defensive front. So certainly an opportunity for USC to go into Ann Arbor and win that Michigan game. We're not going to make predictions right now, but like it's right there. It's right there for USC, right there for the taking. And we'll certainly be talking about it the next 2 weeks here at the Voice of College Football. But that brings us to really the one big concern with this USC team. Defense, straight A's. Defense is knocking it out of the park. Like there's no debate there. Like, you know, I'm the bad cop, Tim's the good cop, but even me, Mr. Bad Cop, like I can't say a bad thing about this defense, all right? You got to give the defense top marks across the board in every way. But the one weakness of this team, and it's not the offensive line. Offensive line run blocked. Like that was the goal for this Utah State game. Be able to smash mouth, lean on some people. Offensive line did that. Now, Michigan will be the revealer of that offensive line. But the real concern is the wide receivers. Like, we did not see this coming. I did not see this coming. But for the second straight game, a ball is on the receiver's hands, and a defender is able to rake the ball out of the hands. The hands are on the ball, and the defender's coming over the shoulder, raking it away. Now, you praise the defender for the good effort, following through, not giving up on the play. Not going to say it wasn't, a good defensive effort by the LSU players last week, by Utah State this week. Hey, go to the weight room, guys. You need to be strong with the ball. Like we talk about that in basketball. When you're double teamed in the low post, you have the rock. You need to hold that thing. You need to be strong with the ball. Eric, this is an Eric Musselman thing, I'm sure. He's teaching it in practice. So USC receivers need to be strong with the ball in traffic. We need to stop seeing this ball getting raked away when it's on your hands. Now, if the ball is in the air, different story. But when you get the ball on your hands, you need to pull it in, and you need to ward off that defender, and you need to be the big dog in that one-on-one battle. We can't keep seeing this happen where defenders are raking the ball away late. These catches need to be finished. Can't keep seeing this happen. And we saw Lake McCree fumble. And I know that he was cutting inside. He was near the sideline. He was cutting inside toward the field. And from his blind side, he didn't see the Utah State defender. But he didn't have two arms over the ball. Didn't put two arms. And in the red zone, you need to be wrapping up. Two arms over the ball. So that's a lesson for Lake McCree to learn. And then, we saw drop passes. Jacoby Lane, Zachariah Branch, at or near the goal line. And, don't worry about turning up field. You need to catch the ball first. Come on, folks. This is basic 101 type stuff from the USC receivers. So, hey, it didn't matter against Utah State, but come on, we need to clean this up. And that's the kind of play, if it keeps happening against Michigan, if it happens against Penn State, if it happens against Notre Dame, could mean the difference between a victory and a defeat, could mean the difference between making the Big Ten championship game and not, could make the difference between making the college football playoff and not. So that's certainly stuff for USC to clean up. We saw Miller Moss, who, wasn't bad, but wasn't great. He kept trying to force that pass into the back of the end zone, to have Deuce Robinson go up and grab the ball. And hey, we know Deuce Robinson can leap pretty high for the ball, but you don't have to force it. Scan the whole field. There are other wide receivers open. Look for someone who's more open in space. You don't just have to throw the jump ball. There are other ways to get a touchdown at the very least. And I think Tim would agree with me once his sound works and he joins our conversation here. For USC Michigan, to me, the key is really obvious, that USC's defense should be able to smother that Michigan offense. I don't think a single person watching this show here at the USC channel at the Voice of College Football would disagree with that. USC's D should put the clamps on that Michigan offense that we saw against Texas. All right. So the key for USC, don't commit huge mistakes on offense or special teams. I mean, it really is that simple. Don't give Michigan free points. And when you're in the red zone, be sure you get 3 instead of 0. Try to get 7 instead of 3, but at least make sure that you're getting points on your drives. I could see USC winning this game 15-10. 5 field goals, okay, that might be enough. Make sure you're not turning the ball over so that you don't get 3 points on a trip inside the Michigan red zone. And remember, Woody Marks had that dumb lateral against LSU. USC was to recover that fumble. That could have been a game changer. So USC has not been clean with the ball. USC has not displayed elite ball security, gotten away with a lot. Tim mentioned last week, in fact, Miller Moss had a couple balls tipped at the line of scrimmage. So he didn't have that problem against Utah State. So that's good. Like he learned that particular lesson.